Look, if you've clicked on this explainer, I want to speak directly to you right now. I want you to consider this a one-on-one mentorship session. If you're an entrepreneur, a creator, or a builder, and you're currently feeling just crushed by a massive setback, you are in exactly the right place. Maybe your business just took a brutal hit. Maybe your savings are totally depleted, or maybe you're just feeling that heavy, suffocating weight of starting over from absolute zero. Well, I want to show you exactly how the most successful people on Earth leverage that exact feeling to build absolute empires.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Section 1. The illusion of failure. So we have to start by stripping away the biggest lie we are all taught about ambition and business. I need you to look at this statement and truly let it sink in. Most people go through their entire lives terrified of failing because they think it's, the terminal end of the road. But the harsh reality, and really the first major lesson of our mentorship session today, is that failure is absolutely not the opposite of success. Failure is just a data point. It's simply a required step in the process. The true opposite of success is actually this: giving up. When you're standing at the bottom of a dark pit, looking up at lost savings, a bruised ego, maybe a completely shattered business plan, that pit only becomes your grave if you surrender. The pit itself? It's neutral. The failure is neutral. The permanence of that defeat is a choice, and it's a choice made the exact second you decide to stop trying.
So, I have to ask you this critical question. What actually determines if you stay down in that pit or if you climb out and eventually build a multi-million-dollar empire? Because I promise you, it is not luck. It is not raw talent. It's a highly specific mechanism, a definitive rule that the ultra-successful lean on. We call it the undisputed law of resilience.
Moving on to Section 2, Embracing Rock Bottom.
To really apply this law, we first have to talk about where it begins, and that means embracing rock bottom as a crushing psychological weight, a mental prison, long before it's just a financial state. Look at this incredible example. If you want to know what true, devastating rock bottom looks like right before a legendary comeback, just think of Chris Gardner. He was entirely homeless, literally locking himself in a public subway bathroom to sleep alongside his toddler son. And during the day, he was putting on a suit and pursuing a completely unpaid internship in finance. The whole world had basically written him off. I mean, most people would look at that subway bathroom and call it the undeniable end of the line. And this brilliantly illustrates the core secret of the resilient mind. When you hit absolute rock bottom, you've actually been handed a gift. It is the most solid foundation you will ever have because there is literally nowhere left to fall. You have to reframe this in your mind right now. You need to shift away from that scarcity mindset of defeat. If you've already lost everything, you are finally completely free from the fear of losing. You can now build with reckless ambition. Which brings us perfectly to Section 3, the resilience pivot. Now, having that solid foundation isn't enough on its own, right? You have to activate it. The pivot happens in an instant, and it's entirely in your internal dialogue. Notice the massive shift here from the victim mentality, asking, why is this happening to me, which just completely strips you of your power, to the resilient mindset of asking, what is this for? How is this pain preparing me? How is this failure equipping me for the millions I'm going to make? You stop wearing your pain as a heavy weight, and you start burning it as high-octane fuel.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the sheer competitive advantage it reveals. Having absolutely nothing gives you the most dangerous weapon in business, pure hunger. While your competitors are comfortable, satisfied, and frankly, sleeping, you are starving. The hungry are hunting. That desperation you feel right now, that is the exact energy source that allow you to outwork people who have 10 times your capper.
Every single self-made millionaire who started from absolute zero shares this exact realization. They made a definitive, non-negotiable decision that their current reality was strictly temporary. They didn't accept the pit as their permanent address. They simply viewed it as a temporary workspace where their empire was being drafted.
All right, let's get into the actual mechanics. Section 4, the 1% rule. Once you've made that pivot in your mind, you need a strategy for execution. You don't jump out of the pit in one giant leap. You climb out using the law of incremental breakthroughs. 1%. This is your entire focus. When you're staring at a massive, seemingly impossible goal, the sheer scale of it can honestly paralyze you. The undisputed law of resilience demands that you ignore the mountain entirely and focus solely on making tiny, persistent daily efforts. This 1% compounds in ways that will mathematically shock you over time.
I want to give you a highly actionable checklist right now. Let's ground your ambition into these 3 immediate daily executions. Number 1, get 1% better at your craft today. Read a chapter, Watch a tutorial. Number 2, get 1% wealthier. Send just one more cold email, make one extra sales call, save $1 extra. And number 3, get 1% more disciplined. Wake up 10 minutes earlier, skip the junk food. That's it, the whole shebang. Just 1% across the board.
Because you see, true resilience isn't some loud, glamorous explosion of success. It really looks like this: the quiet, persistent thud of a hammer against a stone. As a struggling entrepreneur, I know you feel this in your bones. You hit the stone and nothing happens. You hit it 100 times and it feels entirely useless. You might literally do this for years without a single tiny crack appearing in the obstacle right in front of you.
So, the crucial point is this. On that 1000th blow, when the stone finally shatters, it wasn't that final hit that did the work. The shattering is the accumulated result of every single seemingly useless strike that came before it. Those daily 1% improvements, those are your hammer strikes. Keep swinging. And finally, Section 5, the Millionaire Mindset Rewire.
To sustain all those hammer strikes, we have to talk about the final stage of this journey, completely rewiring your subconscious to shed the skin of the person who is stuck at rock bottom and fully adopt the operating system of the millionaire you are becoming. This is exactly how the resilient rewire their brains. Where the masses see a devastating disaster, the top 1% see an unbelievable opportunity. The world panics about a recession? Well, the resilient see a massive discount on assets. Someone cries over a job loss, the resilient view it as the ultimate push to finally start their own business. You have to train your brain to instantly translate adversity into an unfair advantage.
As your mentor in this explainer, I really need you to understand this. Resilience is the sheer, stubborn ability to maintain absolute focus on your vision, even when the current facts of your life are screaming that it's impossible. Your mindset must confidently overrule your current bank account. Your vision of the future has got to be louder than your present reality.
So I leave you with this final, provocative thought. Which part of the law of resilience will you apply today? Are you going to embrace the foundation of rock bottom? Will you make the resilience pivot? Or will you start swinging the hammer for your daily 1%? Remember, the greatest comeback stories are never written in the light of victory. They are forged right now in the darkness of the struggle. It is time to start building.